My name is Sarah Dickinson. I am a PhD student within the Australian Institute for Machine Learning within the AI for Space group. So I work within lunar navigation using machine learning and computer vision techniques, and that involves trying to determine where we are on the lunar surface when we travel up to the moon. As lunar missions increase, as they have been recently, what we need to do is determine multiple ways of landing methods. We need to determine where we are on the lunar surface, potentially steer away from handcrafted, normal communication methods into using more autonomous methods, such as autonomous spacecrafts, autonomous satellites, in the hope that we can reduce the risks to humans and that we can potentially explore more risky scenarios. The problem with that is that oftentimes the surface looks very repetitive and it's hard to sort of get a grasp on where it is in general. So what we want to try and use is an AI method that captures features within images, like craters, for example. It's called vision-based navigation, and hopefully use those images to figure out where we are in position. One challenge with lunar images is that there's not a huge library of them. So what we do is we essentially use digital elevation models, which are basically recreating the lunar surface and rendering those images for the algorithm to essentially learn off of. So they look very similar to real images, but we can just capture all of the different angles, rotations, everything that we might possibly need for the training that we need to do. What I enjoy the most about being at AIML is the community, being able to talk about similar topics that we all enjoy. I walked in as a space-orientated research student, but it's fascinating to hear different aspects of, say, medical approaches, and we can actually learn from these other topics some other things that might actually benefit our own topic. What makes me interested in space is that it's very much the unknown. The moon itself is fantastic as a sort of a bridge in space missions. There's so much potential in what we can do. What inspires me to get up there and keep learning AI and all these wonderful things is just basically pure curiosity. When I first think of a research topic, I always like to think of what possibly I would want to be an expert in, or I want to know more about. I find that there's this sort of intuitive feeling that I want to keep exploring this topic. And so it's a bit of a heart and mind thing at the same time. And that's really what inspires me to keep learning these new things.